Hello, everyone, and welcome to the new season of the Purposeful Life Show with your host, Adrian Starks. I'm excited to share some new updates of the show with you, starting with a new look, sound, and energy, as well as a variety of guests coming aboard with intriguing topics of conversation. I hope you enjoy the new level of energy that will be brought to the show. Thank you for all of your support since the very beginning in 2019. Wow, it's been 3 years already? Because of you, the Purposeful Life Show is now in the top 5% of all podcasts globally, and we aim to get it into the top 1%. Continue listening to the show and share it with others. You can also now listen to the show on my Facebook page at Adrian Starks, where you can comment in real time and communicate with me about your aha moments. Thank you again for all of your support, and let's make this one hell of a year and be purposeful about doing that. Wishing you all much love and success. We are living in an era of comparisons and competition. This has led to epidemics such as loneliness and some depression. People are feeling pressure to be perfect, to not make mistakes, and of course, not to be considered different or odd. Some are even ostracized for living a life of courage and change. What happens in our society if the pendulum shifted back to human autonomy? The ability to think, feel, act, and create on our own accord. And that is without intentionally hurting others, but intentionally creating the life of our choosing. Join me on my new episode, The Art of Being Yourself. Hi, my name is Adrian Starks, and welcome to the Purposeful Life Show on the Champion Up Podcast. This podcast is for the courageous creators wanting to create a life of meaning, adventure, and fulfillment, all while helping to make the world a better place. I'm happy you're here, and if you're new to our show, make sure to give us that 5-star rating and subscribe so you don't miss out on future episodes. Also, connect with us on Facebook and Instagram at Champion Up. It is always that one idea that could be your breakthrough. It's time to step into your courage and believe the champion in you. Welcome back to the Champion Up Podcast, a Purposeful Life Show. I'm your host. My name is Adrian Starks, and I'm excited to have you back for another amazing Courageous Creator episode. Before we get started, you know what to do. Make sure to give us that 5-star rating, subscribe to the show, and to let everyone know about this Courageous Creator content that we're building out here for the world, for people to know that they can create the most magnificent lives that they choose to if they go about it a certain way and doing that certain way every single day. Be sure to give us a review too as well. We'd like to know how we're doing. And if there's anything that you would like for us to talk more about, let us know. It's got to be positive. It must be constructive. And if you can do that, I will definitely consider having it on the show. Today's a special episode that we're going to be talking about, and it's the art of being yourself. But what makes it even more special is that I am the only one on this show today. Yeah, you got it. There's no guest, just me, because I want to talk to you about something very near and dear to my heart, and that is the art of being yourself. Why do I call it the art of being yourself? It's because it's going to take practice, consistency, a lot of effort, and a lot of courage to find out what is it about you, your patterns, your habits, your attitude that's going to allow you to really show up out here in the world. I talk about this a lot with people when I say that as human beings, we're here for 3 things on this planet. That is 1, to learn, 2, to grow, and 3, to fully express ourselves, whatever that may look like for you. But you cannot fully express yourself if you don't trust what you have or what you are becoming or what you choose to become. And that's what I call the art of being yourself. It's so hard today in the world because we're so designed with pressure. I mean, businesses are designed to make people do the same things they've been doing for years because they want the money to come in, they want the success. And so employees or even business owners or even partners in business have a hard time not reinventing the wheel, but changing something because they're scared or they're fearful that it may be dismantled or it may disrupt something. And sometimes it usually does, but it leads to something even better. Even in personal life, we are conformed by family, by friends, by belief systems, by opinions, by perceptions. And we fall back and we don't really express ourselves the way we should be expressing ourselves, which is why we're truly here. Oscar Wilde, a Victorian author, had a book called The Picture of Dorian Gray, which I always loved to read as a young child. This book had many caveats in it about the morality of living and how you treat people and how you show up in the world. I won't get into detail about this book, but you should read it. But Oscar Wilde had a quote that many people use, and they don't quote him on it, but it is his quote. And it's called, "Be yourself because everyone else is taken." Think about that. Be yourself because everyone else is taken. I mean, that's a very powerful quote to understand. But a lot of us will not be ourselves because it's hard to stand out, because we fear judgment. We fear rejection. We fear failure. And I'm going to say this, we fear success. Success comes with a price to pay. It comes with commitment. It comes with the focus and clarity of what you really want to achieve. And it comes with the responsibility of knowing that you are the person that is going to radiate that out. It will not come to you. So the art of being yourself is very important because it gives you a sense of entitlement, of focusing on what you are good at doing, what you love to do, and how you can show up in the world and express this and even make money doing it. We live in a world where we think that I can't make money doing what I love to do. Yes, you can. You can make money any kind of way. Hopefully it is a respectful way and a positive way, but you can make money anyway. But I'm going to change up something here. You need to start learning how to earn money by providing a service to someone or something, and you know what their needs are. And if you know what their needs are, you can provide a service in the way that is going to be true to you. This is what we call authenticity. And I know authenticity is this buzzword that people are talking about now, and they're saying, oh, it's a buzzword. Well, any word that's really popular is going to be a buzzword, okay? Hello. But authenticity is not about you just walking a straight and narrow and saying, this is who I am. Authenticity is about refusing to allow yourself to be molded by anyone's actions towards you. It is your ability to refuse to be molded by any standards that society has been set to control others. It allows yourself to be able to walk in your line of truth and to design what you choose to in your life and create it with passion and courage. When I created Champion Up over 3 years ago, I knew what my vision was. It was to create a spark across this amazing planet. It was to take down the numbers of suicide, which I'm still passionate about. It was to help people understand that no matter where you are in life, whether it's business or personal life, if you're stuck, there's a reason for that. If you feel like you're spinning your wheels, there's a reason for that. If you feel like you're not coming up with new ideas or new clients or new ways of doing things, it's a reason for that. And I aim to step into the middle of that and show people how to have the courageous solutions for change and how to up-level their creativity in their business and personal life. And in turn, I get what I'm passionate about. I get the chance to be able to make a global impact on this planet and to make it be a better place, which is why I came up with Champion Up. Champion Up is just not some fancy word. Champion Up is an action. It is about understanding the mindsets of champions, understanding what things they do, how they work, and using that in your life to help you become a winner, to help you create change. And a champion is not just someone that's an athlete or a competitor. That's what society has titled it as. Champion is a human being with an idea, a vision, and a dream, and they're working so hard in themselves, being true to themselves, working on carving out that part of themselves so that they can show up out here in the world and to really create some major impact. It reminds me of a trip I took over a couple of years ago to Italy, and I was in Florence for about a week. What a beautiful city, by the way. I was able to see Michelangelo's sculpting of the David. What an absolutely phenomenal picture. I mean, we see it in history books, but when you're in person, it's so much more different. I remember looking at it, thinking to myself, what an amazing sight. How could someone do this with their hands? Then I had a chance to purchase a book out of one of the stores in the museum. And the first line said that I saw the angel in the marble and I just carved him out. He was talking about David. This flawed marble, he was able to see inside of it and carve that person out. Now, that's what I call the art of knowing yourself, knowing what you want, carving out of life what you want, the art of being yourself. I'm going to go back to this quote on Oscar Wilde, be yourself because everyone else is taken. I love learning about people's lives and how they're able to travel through the levels of challenges and circumstances and get to where they are. We hear these as the rags to riches story, the bottom of the barrel story. We hear this as I was in the slums and this happened. But this is not about rah-rah here today. It never is with me, actually. This is about finding the point of what I'm trying to make with a story here. I'm going to start with two people. One person is Rakim. Rakim is a New York native. hip hop artist. Growing up as a kid, I loved listening to hip hop. That's positive hip hop. I don't listen to any of the stuff out here that's violent, that's detrimental to, our youngsters' minds and their habits. I don't listen to any of that mess. I'm about listening to constructive, positive lyrics. And so Rakim was this rapper out of the New York area. I'm not sure exactly what area he was from, but he made such an impact because he's considered to be one of the top 5 hip hop artists of all time. Now, why am I saying this? Well, when he first started, he came out in the era of LL Cool J and other artists who were very charismatic. They were just out there, just yelling. They had their shirts off. They were sweating. They had the gold chains and everything. And Rakim came in with this eloquent, deep voice. It's kind of slow, not very fast, but he had a rhythm about him that allowed him to really capture the ears of his audience, just like I'm doing now. He played with the sequence and patterns of words in a way that was very eloquent. To this day, he still does it. I recall him talking of a moment in time where a producer brought him to an office. The producer said, "Hey, Rakim, you know what? You're a great artist, and we feel you have so much potential. However, your competition out there, they are so much more charismatic. They are so much more energetic. They got sex appeal. They got all these things going on. And it's nothing, and I'm not saying anything against these guys now. That was what worked for them, and that's who they were, and that's their success. But in the story for Rakim, he knew that by being in that office and having someone tell him that was not the route he wanted to take. And they encouraged him to be more aggressive, to say curse words. And by the way, Rakim didn't curse. He didn't need to. They encouraged him to talk more of the hip-hop slang. He refused to bow down to that. And he said to himself, I am not going to be what they want me to be. I'm going to be myself. That's what we call the art of being yourself. He knew he had a gift. He knew he had this ability to articulate words and to be a narrator of his environment and to capture what he's experienced and give it to a story to teach. He knew that. So he said, no, I'm not going to do that. Well, they didn't sign the deal with him, obviously. He moved on and he started continuing to do his rapping, and he signed a deal with another company. They actually loved him and put him on the map, and he blew up. He was a legend in the making. About a year later, he ran back into that same producer, and the producer admitted that he made a mistake. He says, yeah, you were right the whole entire time. That wasn't you. And I'm glad you stuck with your guns and you said this was who you were. Because if he didn't do that, would we know Rakim? And it's spelled Rakim for the people that love hip hop or love lyrics. Hopefully I'm spelling it right. But would we know him today? Would he be one of the 5 top legends of all time? And he's still living, by the way, and he still does his lyrics. He still raps. He's still great. I hope he comes back and saves hip hop from these young generations. They listen to so much crap out there. But he's truly amazing. But he was the art of being himself, and that truly inspired me. What are you not doing right now that's not allowing you to be yourself? Maybe it's a conversations that you're unwilling to address with people. Maybe it's an opinion or a perception you have about something that you're scared to tell someone because you think they may not like you anymore or may not accept you. Maybe it's being afraid to ask for a raise. Maybe it's being afraid to go out there and take on this new business that you've been thinking about for years, or the new idea you've been thinking about for years. Maybe you're afraid to ask that person out on a date. Maybe you're afraid to say, you know what, I may not be in the best shape, but I'm still going to start working out, going outside, or going somewhere to start taking better care of myself. Maybe it's you're not writing that book, writing that poetry, starting that podcast. Everything starts from an action. That is the most important thing I want you to understand. The action of being you, the action of doing what you need to do for you. That's called the art of being yourself and knowing what your vision is. Rakim knew what his vision was. Another person that I want to bring up is Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee is the founder of Jeet Kune Do, which is a style that he created. And he's also a martial arts legend. He had a movie called Enter the Dragon, which was a global impact. He was the first Asian martial artist or first Asian actor to hit Hollywood with such an impact. But there was a scene in the movie. They were going to an island, multiple martial artists. There was Jim Kelly on this boat. There was Bruce Lee. There was other men on this boat. And they were all going to an island to do this big martial arts tournament. Now, Bruce Lee was on this boat not just to do the tournament, he was actually undercover. He was trying to go to this island where apparently there was a drug ring going on, and this had something to do with his sister in the movie getting killed. So he had an overall theme of why he was there. But he also knew that the only way to get to this island was to be on this boat with all these martial artists, and he had to fight, of course, to be there. So on this boat, there's this one gentleman. There's always this one person, right? We call them the bully. And he's a martial artist, and so he's picking on people in the boat. He's walking by the servants. He's kicking fruit out of their hand. He's kicking them while they're on the ground, bending over to pick up something. He's pushing people. And they're all intimidated by him because they don't know how to fight. So eventually he makes his rounds and he comes to Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee is standing there looking out at the water because he's got his vision in front of him. He knows what he wants. He knows where he's going. This gentleman looks at him and he does a fist pump, a fake fist pump in the air. And Bruce Lee doesn't even flinch. And he does it again to try to get Bruce Lee's attention. And then Bruce says, "Oh, don't waste yourself." That's what he said. You could tell I watched this movie a lot. And the gentleman looks at him. He's shocked. He's like, "What's your style?" And Bruce Lee goes, "My style?" And the gentleman goes, "Yeah." And Bruce Lee goes, "My style is the art of fighting without fighting." And the gentleman says, "Well, what's that?" And Bruce Lee says, "I'll show you." He points to the island across the water. He says, "If we get on this small boat, beside this big boat here, I'll show you when we get to the island what I mean." So the gentleman, he's all arrogant. So he's like, "Yeah, of course. Let's go over here and fight so I can try to show you how better I am than you." So he gets on the small boat first. This is like a life preserver boat. And then as he gets on, he's looking up. Bruce Lee's not even getting on the boat. He starts distancing the rope out away from the large boat. And the gentleman's like, "What are you doing?" And Bruce Lee's like, "Stay there. If you move, I'm going to let go of this rope." Everyone on the boat is laughing. They're like, "Oh, thank goodness the guy's off the boat." But Bruce Lee did this for a reason. He showed him this is the art of fighting without fighting. I am not going to tangle with you because I know myself. I know the fact that I can beat you any day, anytime, but I'm not going to get into this conundrum with you. This is not why I'm here. I'm here for these reasons. I'm going to let you fight yourself. He allowed the gentleman to pull himself into a corner so that way Bruce could say, "You know what? You did it on yourself. You're on this boat by yourself. You stay there. I'm not going to fight you." The point I'm bringing here is that Bruce Lee knew who he was in that boat. He knew the fact that he was a martial artist. He knew he could fight. And I'm pretty sure he knew he could kick this guy's butt any day of the week. But what he knew most importantly was that he knew why he was there. He was not there to get into any unnecessary confrontations unless it was necessary. He knew that he needed to get to this island, get into this tournament, and find out who actually killed his sister and to find out who the leader of all this is. So it's a great story, a great movie. And it's not just about him kicking and, doing martial arts. It's a story behind it. When you're watching things, look beneath the surface. Don't just look at all the fun stuff on top. And when you look at people, look beneath the surface. Don't look at the pretty smile or the attraction or the glamour they have. Look beneath the surface. In this movie, if you look beneath the surface, it was the art of being himself. He knew what he had to do, and he knew why he was there, and he knew what he was capable of. That's what I mean by the art of being yourself. Don't get involved in arguments with people that are unnecessary. Don't let people put you into a corner and make you feel bad about yourself. Don't let people bully you into doing something you don't want to do or you shouldn't be doing. Don't let people control you emotionally. There was a podcast episode with Matthew Knowles, and I encourage you to go back and listen to that one. And he talks about if he wants to win an argument, he'll just get you emotional. And he's so right about that. That's the problem with the world, is that everyone is going off sheer emotion that is not coming from them. It's coming from something that they think is them. The art of being you is understanding emotionally who you are, what you're doing, and why you're doing it, and where you're going with it. And that takes time. It does take practice. It does not happen overnight. But if you start now, it is better than not starting at all. This is important for us to know also in business, the art of being ourselves. But businesses now are looking for new ideas, innovation, a new way of approaching things. That's where society is going. So we have to be going that direction too. And that comes from the art of being ourselves and knowing what we want. So you got to start thinking about, what do you want? What do you want to create out here in the world? What problems would you like to solve in the world? What kind of service do you want to provide? And if you're working a job and you don't want to be an entrepreneur, because entrepreneur is it's not easy. But if you're just wanting to work a nice job, find out, why are you there? Is it there just because of the money, or is it there because you believe in that company's mission and vision? That's the art of being yourself too. You got to understand why you're in the certain position. Why are you there? This is why I'm different. Ladies and gentlemen listening to this, I'm very different because I choose to be. I don't consider myself a motivational speaker. I consider myself an inspiration. I consider myself a coach. I consider myself a teacher. I consider myself a speaker. There's a lot of things I consider myself, but I am different because I have a true vision about what I want in my world. I want people to succeed. Whatever it is they want to do, if it is positive, if it is constructive, if it is going to make this world a better place, I want to help them do that. You've got to be honest with why you are doing things and where you are with what you're doing and where you're wanting to go with it. That's the art of being yourself. Me being here is not easy. I made a lot of sacrifices to get to where I am today. Some of you may be listening and thinking, wow, he just popped up on a podcast. He's got all these things going on, speaking engagements. He's on social media. I'm not saying this from a state of trying to impress you, but to impress upon you that all this came from strategy. All this came from knowing myself and the art of being myself. I have friends now I haven't talked to in years and they have faded away. Am I crying about it? Absolutely not. I have things in life that I can no longer do that don't serve the purpose of who I am now. Am I crying about it? Absolutely not. The art of being yourself is knowing what is right to you, knowing what you're good at, and then spend your time getting good at that thing, and then finding a way to use that thing to serve your communities, to serve your planet. That is the art of being you. The art of being you is not losing your integrity, not losing your nobility, not losing your character in pursuit of something you're wanting to achieve. The art of you is understanding that every human being shares something in common, oxygen and a heartbeat, and we all need to show each other some respect. The art of being yourself means understanding the power of communication and knowing that you can make an impact on this planet. You can make changes. You can be a courageous creator in your life. That's why I talk so much about change. And I love change because change is inevitable. We can't avoid it. And if you're thinking, well, I don't want to change because there's nothing wrong with me. Be careful. That's a mistake that many people make across the world. They think that they don't need to change because there's nothing wrong with them. You're changing right now by being immersed into this conversation. You're changing right now by maybe questioning what I'm saying. You're changing right now by agreeing what I'm saying. Regardless, you are changing. So if you can become an active changer, meaning you are initiating change in your life, you are going to start learning how to develop the art of being yourself. I'm a champion of change today because I learned that art. And I know that you can learn it too, and I want you to learn it. I want you to start being yourself more. Remember that quote from Oscar Wilde, "Be you because everyone else is taken." I love when we can change for the better. I love when we can change our realities because we have that ability. I have changed so much in my life and have come to a point now where I can help tell the world about it. And I'm telling you about it right now. Think about what I've talked about today and what can you start doing to develop the art of being yourself? Your habits, your attitude, your intentions. What are you doing about those? How do you start implementing small little steps? I gave you some examples earlier. Start using those. Another step of learning how to be yourself is watching what I do and how I'm being myself. I smile. I love nature. I love poetry. I love the art of communication. I love positivity. I love optimism. I love creating things. I love health. I don't wear suits. No, I don't wear ties. I wear usually jeans, nice shoes, a nice shirt, and a sports jacket. That's me. And I don't try to go out here and compare myself to anyone because I don't need to. When you compare yourself to people and try to compete, you've already put their head above yours. You've already lost. The art of being yourself is staying centered in you and doing the best with what you have and then doing even better. I want you to go to championup.net right now when you're done listening to this and to go to the event section and to look at my next event I have coming up in less than 10 days. It's called Get Inspired Talks, and my talk is about Be the Champion of Change. And in this talk, you will hear me express things that you haven't heard before. You will see why I am the way I am today. You will see how I became my own courageous creator, and also the art of being myself. And you go to the event section, click on Get Inspired Talks, and to choose your tickets for the evening. That's when I will be speaking. If you're listening to this and it's not October 19th, it's afterwards, go to the Champion Up YouTube channel and you will see the video there. Like it, comment on it, and share it as much as possible. Subscribe to the YouTube channel as well, Champion Up YouTube, so that you can be receiving videos from me as I will be teaching more about the power of change, the power of taking on challenges, the power of innovation, because it's important. We are in an era now where the BS meters are up. People are tired of this robotic type of acting. They're tired of the perfectionism, which is not true. They're tired of just being lied to. They want people who are real. They want people who show up and they're just like, this is who I am. Like it or not like it. That's where we are right now. So go to championup.net, go to the event section, get your tickets for Get Inspired Talks on October 19th in Vancouver, British Columbia. And if you can't make the event, go to the Champion Up YouTube channel, subscribe right away because the video will be up shortly afterwards. And then I want you to like it, comment on it, and share as much people as possible. Until then, I encourage you to be that courageous creator in your life. This is the Purposeful Life Show and the Champion Up Podcast with myself, Adrian Starks, and thank you for listening. If you've enjoyed our podcast today, don't forget to give us that 5-star rating and subscribe to the show so you don't miss out on the powerful life-changing content on future episodes. Also, make sure to go to championup.net for even more life-changing content. Until then, I encourage you to be the courageous creator in your life.